Okay, it's the Viper 4567 here with a brand new concept. This is going to be called Random Pay-Per-Views. So, concept behind this is basically do a random review of any WWE show between 2003 and the current date. Well, obviously whatever, yeah, we say the end of 2013, so 10 years basically. So any pay-per-view between 2003 and 2013. So, we're starting off with Money in the Bank 2011. So I think it's a great way to start off the review. This is episode 1, obviously. So this is going to be every 2 weeks on a Tuesday night. Every 2 weeks on a Tuesday. So, well, hopefully I will be taking breaks between then and between times and all that. But we'll get on with this one, which is obviously, as I said, WWE Money in the Bank 2011. I'm hoping to do this for a long time because I do have a lot of wrestling DVDs as well. Plus, there's about 3 or 4 that I don't have that I want to review, which I can get on YouTube or other various sites. So, let's get on with it, shall we? So, this was in the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. And I'll tell you one thing, this pay-per-view fucking rocked. Like, for modern day WWE, well, I know this was like nearly 3 years ago now, but still a really good pay-per-view. Probably one of the better pay-per-views WWE have put on. Probably over the last 2 or 3 years. There's probably 1 or 2 that have done alright, but this one was probably the best out of the last 2 or 3 years. So, first match was a Smackdown Money in the Bank match, which had Cara, Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, Sheamus, Cody Rhodes, Heath, Slater, Kane, and Daniel Bryan. This is a very, very good match. Probably you could say the second best match of the night, or even could give it match of the night if you wanted to. But started off with Sheamus and Wade Barrett teaming up on Kane. That doesn't last long. Kane double clotheslines him and then gets him over the top rope with a clothesline as well. Daniel Bryan drop kicks Justin Gabriel off the ladder, which was a nice spot because it was beautiful the way he did it. Daniel Bryan then with a suicide dive on Wade Barrett. Slater then with a nice corkscrew on Cody Rhodes. Nice bro kick then from Sheamus then on Sin Cara. Sheamus has Sin Cara in a powerbomb position and then basically just powerbombs him through a ladder, an absolute fucking awesome spot, and Sin Cara basically leaves on a stretcher. It looked like he fucked his back up royally, or it could have easily been spinal damage. Slater and Gabriel then team up on Barrett. He tried to get them to watch his back while gating the briefcase. Obviously that didn't work and they double teamed him instead. Sheamus then has Daniel Bryan on his shoulders and Kane kicks, kind of gets on the top rope, does the flying close, and basically looks like the Doomsday device, and you can actually hear some chants shouting LOD, LOD. Bryan then with a nice DDT after reversing a chokeslam from Kane. Sheamus then bro kicks the ladder into Barrett. Basically, Barrett has the ladder and Sheamus basically bro kicks him. Kane chokeslam Sheamus onto a ladder, which was nice because he was on a ladder, and boom, right back down, which was nice. 450 then splash from the ladder, basically from the ladder onto Kane from Justin Gabriel. Barrett then goes to get the briefcase and Daniel Bryan elbows Barrett like a shitload of times, kicks him to the head and falls to the ground, and Daniel Bryan wins the Smackdown Money in the Bank. So overall a fantastic match, I must say. Really, really enjoyed it. I'll give it 4 1/4 stars. Then we see Vince McMahon arriving at the arena, getting ready to basically get a contract for CM Punk. Obviously, I watched CM Punk's Best in the World DVD. Basically, he signed the contract that night. Literally, no bullshit. He signed the contract. If he was not in the main event, he would not have re-signed with WWE. So, which is kind of cool. Like, kind of Punk, like big controversy. This was for a while. Then we get kind of a shit match, kind of a couple of okay match. Well, we have one bad match and an okay match coming up. Next match is Kelly defeating Brie in a shit Divas match to retain the Divas title. Not really going to talk about this match. As I said, typical Divas match. Short and sweet. Kelly wins with her finisher. The thing is, I forget the name of it. Sorry, but I'd give it a 1/4 star. Next, then Mark Henry defeats the Big Show. An okay match now, I must say. Well, for a big man match now, it was good. I give it 2 stars. Nice shoulder block from Big Show and Henry. Then Show goes for chokeslam, but Henry reversed it. But Show throws Henry. Kind of goes. Show basically just throws Henry into the steps. Henry then goes over the steps basically. Then Henry drop kicks the steps into the Show's knee, which was kind of shit really. Henry then works on the knee for a while. Nice kick to the face of Big Show. Nice kick to the face by Henry. Half Boston Crab then from fucking Mark, and you don't really see many fucking of these on Big Show. Shoulder block then from the second rope from Big Show. World's Strongest Slam gets 2. So Henry gets another one and then 2 big splashes, and that gets the win for Henry. So after the match then, Henry wants to make it behind, gets a chair, puts it on the Big Show's knee and comes off the second rope, and it looked absolutely fucking nasty. And Big Show leaves then on a stretcher. So, yeah. So 2 stars. Then we see an interview from Vince McMahon talking about Punk, saying he did not sign the contract, saying he's the most difficult man to work with in his entire career, and saying the fans should not blame him for Punk not signing the contract. So you should blame basically CM Punk, blah blah blah. So yeah, so excuse me. Next time we have the Raw Money in the Bank match, which had Alberto Del Rio, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, Evan Bourne, R-Truth, Alex Riley, The Miz, and Rey Mysterio. This match, it was not as good as the first one, I must say, but still, it was still pretty damn good. I gave it 3.5, which is not bad for a ladder. Considering modern day ladder matches are now not the greatest, obviously. The fact is, there's not as much hype. There wouldn't be as much. Well, the high flying is still kind of there, but you obviously don't have as much risk as it was back, say, about 7 or 8 years ago. Whatever, but and plus, I do miss blood, but a lot of people say they miss blood from ladder matches. Well, to be fair, most TLC matches, I don't think many people kind of bled that much, really. I don't think so, if I'm not mistaken, but it does kind of ruin a match, considering if you get hit in the head with a ladder, you're going to bleed. But, okay, yeah. So all the guys in the match basically get ladders and bring him into the ring, which is awesome. They all obviously target Alberto Del Rio, which was kind of fucking funny. This match is not, as I said, it's not as good, but it's decent one, to be fair, and as not as many spots either, but sure, look, what can you do? Del Rio is on the outside, everyone then throws out their ladders onto him. He's basically on the floor, all the about 5 or 6 ladders fall onto him. Evan and Kofi team up on and hit Swagger and Truth with a ladder. Truth goes over the top on Swagger and Riley. Then everyone is on the outside. Evan climbs this big motherfucking ladder on the outside and basically does a shooting star press onto everyone, which was nice, probably the spot of the match, probably. Miz falls off the ladder thanks to Alberto Del Rio onto his knee, which looked really bad, so he had to go backstage for a while. Both Evan and Rey Mysterio do Hanukkah rounders off ladders on Alberto Del Rio and R-Truth, which were excellent. R-Truth hits Swagger then with a ladder right into the skull. Truth then kicks the ladder into the ribs of Rey. R-Truth then eats the ladder thanks to Rey Mysterio. Kofi then with a boom drop off the ladder onto R-Truth, and then Kofi then eats the 619. R-Truth then also eats a 619. Then all 7 men go towards the briefcase, which was absolutely excellent. Del Rio eats a ladder after falling, basically eats ladder and also falling off it. Evan goes all the basically before Del Rio falls off a ladder and lands right onto another one. Basically, Evan goes all the way to the floor. Miz comes back and Rey goes for his knee, which the crowd are booing actually at Rey Mysterio, which was kind of weird. And then a nice sunset flip powerbomb from Rey Mysterio. Rey hits Del Rio with the briefcase, but then Del Rio basically pulls off Rey's mask and then gets the briefcase for the win. So overall, as I said, it wasn't as good as the first match, but it wasn't completely that far off. Like only 3.5. I think it's maybe a star altogether. But look, not saying both ladder matches, both in my opinion, both delivered. I can tell you one thing: I enjoyed the heck out of both ladder matches. I must say, as I said, ladder matches nowadays are not the greatest. But like, I tell you one thing, brilliant matches. I tell you what, the show itself and the crowd are red fucking hot for all the matches, I must say. I'll tell you what, but I can't wait. But when you see the CM Punk and Cena match, you think basically Punk's reaction is what Daniel Bryan got. Daniel Bryan got last week on Raw, basically, just as bad, just as good. So there you go, basically. Next match then, Christian defeats Randy Orton to win the World Heavyweight Championship. By obviously Randy Orton gets disqualified, but if Randy Orton gets disqualified, he loses the world title, and which he does in this match. But the match itself was pretty good. I gave it 3.5 stars. As I said, if Randy loses, he loses the title. The match starts off with Christian going down to the outside and getting a chair to try and basically get Randy Orton to snap. So Randy Orton grabs the chair and he just throws it back out, basically. Nice back body drop then from Orton. The crowd are really into this match. I'm not surprised, but elbow gets 2 for Christian. Nice right hand then from Christian. Literally, you could hear the velocity of it. It was absolutely brilliant. Like the impact even, I should say. You could hear it, like, it was absolutely fucking sweet. Roll up gets 2 for Randy. Spinebuster gets 2 for Christian. Orton gets the Lou Fez press. Nice dropkick then from Orton after Christian coming off the second rope. That gets a 2. Flying headbutt gets 2 for Christian. Kind of not as bad as what Chris Benoit used to do. Christian gets the kill switch but only gets a 2. And where was I? Christian then goes for a spear but eats the ring post. Randy then gets a gut wrench neckbreaker. I was about to say neckbreaker gets 2. Orton then gets the DDT on the ropes and gets ready for the RKO, but Christian gets out of it and basically he's in the corner. Randy Orton comes over and basically Christian spits in his face. Randy Orton goes crazy and thanks to kicking Christian in the buttocks, that gets the DQ and Christian wins the World Heavyweight Championship of the world, basically. So after the match then Randy Orton basically cracks up, hits Christian with a television monitor, gets Christian up onto the Spanish announce table, and proceeds to RKO him. So he leaves, kind of goes down the entranceway, and then decides to come back and give him an RKO again, which the table did not break on both occasions, which was absolutely fucking funny. So overall it was a pretty good match, I must say. Obviously, I don't like the way Christian won the World Heavyweight title. I can understand the tactics towards it, I can understand that, but he could have won by just either fucking holding the tights or whatever, fucking holding on to the ropes, whatever. They could have done it that way, but sure, look, what can you do? So, still low, 3.5 stars for me. Next time we have the main event for the WWE Championship. CM Punk defeating John Cena in a fantastic match. I'll tell you one thing, I do rip John Cena a lot. I don't like his character. I do not like him at all. Outside the ring, I have utmost respect for the guy, but he's just so fucking boring. His character is so... I know he's the face of the company, but still, come on, please turn him heel. John Cena, I can tell you one thing. If he becomes heel, he could become one... Like, he is... when he was heel, when he first came into the company, he was fucking awesome. Like, he wasn't bad. So, like... even when he became face, even, he was still pretty good. It's just when he kind of became WWE champion, that's where kind of the big fucking, like... I don't know, I think that's when all the fucking he started, the proper babyface came into him. But I'd love to see Cena go heel. It could still happen, but it's probably not going to happen for at least another fucking 2 or 3 years. So the build up for this was excellent. Punk's promos were absolutely fucking superb. Probably the best promos I've ever seen a WWE superstar do in years. Like, the crowd they listen. They don't boom or anything. They listen. That's the way you want it. And as I said, the crowd go nuts for him because obviously it is his hometown of Chicago. As I said, I haven't seen this kind of reaction since 2006. Obviously, RVD and Cena, and we all knew. And I thought it was going to happen, like, RVD versus Cena, basically. We obviously know who won that match, RVD. So, obviously, it was a screwed finish, but you know what I mean. And I must say, Punk's t-shirt was excellent. I was actually looking to buy it, but I couldn't get it. The crowd cheer for Punk with every move. Boo everything Cena does. Both guys go for finishes, both get countered. Cena goes for the AA, but gets countered into an ICT for Punk, which gets 2. You can barely hear the Let's Go Cena chants, basically, because they're deafened out by Cena sucks chants. Fisherman suplex gets 2 for Cena. Punk slaps hands with his friend Cole Cabana. Nice knee off the second rope, then onto the neck of Cena off the apron from Punk. Punk eats the ring post. Cena then with a suplex from Punk onto the outside. Basically, Punk was in the inside of the ring. Cena was on the apron. He basically suplexed him. Fucking brilliant. Another fisherman suplex from Cena gets a 2 count. Power slam gets 2 for Cena. Then both trade punches. Both guys go for clotheslines. They both basically hit each other. Roll up gets 2 for CM Punk. Cena then goes for the 5 knuckle shuffle, but Punk hits him in the skull with a kick. Suicide dive then from Cena from Punk. Punk counters the AA and hits Cena with a few kicks and then goes to the GTS, but that gets countered into a gut wrench suplex, which gets 2. 2 knees to the jaw and a bulldog from Punk. Then a flying clothesline for Punk gets a 2 count. Cena gets the STF on Punk, but he gets to the ropes. Nice kick to the back of the skull gets 2 for CM. Cena catches Punk after a crossbody and goes for the AA. Gets countered into the GTS, but that gets countered into an STF. Punk counters the STF into an Anaconda Vice, and that gets countered into an AA, which only gets 2 for Cena. Shit looking powerbomb from Punk gets 2. GTS then again is counted. Cena gets to the top, goes for the top rope, gets the top rope leg drop, and he gets 2. The face on Cena's priceless, basically. Cena gets the AA again, but again only gets 2. Cena goes for the AA, basically a super fucking AA, but he misses. But obviously Punk gets a load of elbows in. Hurricanrana then from Punk from the top rope. Knee in the corner, and then the GTS on Cena, which he basically gets out of the ring. Vince comes to the ring with John Laurinaitis. Cena gets the STF again on Punk. Vince tries to do what basically he did to Bret Hart, to ring the bell, but then he sends Laurinaitis over, and basically he eats a punch from Cena, saying basically, I want to win fair. Whoever wins will win it fairly. He gets back in, eats a GTS, and Punk gets the win. So obviously he's the new WWE champion. After the match, Vince is basically irate, blah blah. Tries to get Alberto Del Rio to basically cash in his money in the bank. Punk kicks him in the head, and then he just runs out. He basically runs out of the arena, basically, which was absolutely fucking brilliant. So yeah, fantastic match. 4.5 stars easily. I wouldn't even begrudge a 5-star even. Like the event, but take out those two kind of. Well, you could keep the Big Show Mark Henry match. Just take out the Divas match. This is a perfect pay-per-view. Simple as that. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So a great way to start off the series. I'm not just doing great pay-per-views, by the way. I'm going to be doing some mediocre ones, like some bad ones, because you can't always just do the great pay-per-views. So I'm hoping to do this for a very, very long time, because obviously I have the Attitude Era as well. Which I won't be doing for a while, obviously, because I'll take a little break from that for a while. I still will be doing that. So as I said, I'll be doing this every 2 weeks or so. I think the first couple of videos I'll be doing for 2 weeks, then I'm going to take a break. Kind of every 5 or 6 episodes, I think I'm going to take a break for a while. Just don't want to be doing it every kind of couple of weeks and all that. Just end up getting boring and all that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So give me feedback down below, and please subscribe and like the video. So the next video will be more Raw and Smackdown thoughts, which will be done on Saturday. And this was the Viper 4567, guys, and take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon.